Hey folks, it's Loon here. I'm going to be bringing you the Japanese Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere experience as part of 9 Gear Crow's Ace Combat LP, where he's covering all of the Strangereal games. Ace Combat 3 takes place at the latter end of the series, from the years 2030 to 2040 during the Usean Corporate Wars. There are 52 missions in total, and the game does have a lot of references to the other games by way of it being the prequel to some of them, and by being a sequel in some ways. We'll be seeing how it all plays out over the course, and as such, I will be covering the UPEO route first, across the first 19 missions.
本日未明、ゼネラルグループの飛行部隊が緊張の続くメリトン地域上空で軍事演習を行いました。これは先にニューコムが発表したサンドバリー砂漠で行われるバイオプラントでの公開実験への牽制が目的とみられており、この行動に対しUPEOのクラークソン代表が今日正式にゼネラルリソースへの移管
Power for Life, Newcom.
皆様の生活を支えるゼネラルグループ、時代の流れを皆様と共に歩みたいゼネラルグループ、未来の環境を皆様と考え作り出すゼネラルグループ。今日も誰かと、明日はきっとあなたと。
この美しい戦闘機で無限の大空へ自由に飛び続ける姿をご覧ください。誰もが憧れる世界の治安を守るUPEOのエースパイロット。しかしこのパイロットが背負った運命を知るとき、私たちは言葉を失うでしょう。パイロットの名は広瀬玲奈。彼女は生まれた時からシルバーストーン病に侵され、日の光の下では生きられないのです。しかし今の彼女には翼があります。ゼネラルリソースの開発した最新の技術によって、
新しい時代の新しい科学、特にエレクトロスフィアによる世界で目覚ましい成果を上げたゼネラルリソースの研究者グループがニューコムの母体となったのはよく知られていることです。そして彼らが宇宙開発への着手を発表した2032年から事実上ゼネラルリソースの緊張状態が続いているのです。すでにエレクトロニクス、バイオテクノロジー、ナノテクノロジー、あらゆる科学分野でもニューコムの科学者たちはゼネラルリソースのそれを超えているとも噂され、長年にわたってその経済力で巨大な権力を誇示してきたゼネラルの時代が。
ええ、はい。お休みの日ですか？公園で散歩はできないんで、本を読んだり映画を見たり普通ですよ、全然。今こうしてパイロットになっていることがもう夢みたいな話ですから。ただ最近思うのは、体なんて人間にとって心の入れ物でしかないのなら、私には意味のないものだなって、いつも心で飛んでるんです。体には翼がないけど、心の翼が私に空をくれたから、このまま心ごと翼になってしまいたいって。
あ、いないのか。じゃあいいけど、あれだ。お前がどういうつもりか知らないけど、UPEOで飛行機乗りでいたいんならパーク司令には逆らうなって。ま、クラークソン派の連中の言ってる平和的な解決ってやり方でこの世界が守れるんなら、最初からゼネラルにUPEOなんていらないんだし、どっちにしてもただの飛行機乗りには関係ないことだな。じゃあ次の任務で。あ、今度はもうちょっと俺のサポートにも対応してくれよな。レナやフィーのマニューバーのコピーばっかはやめとけ。俺の後ろはお前しかいないんだから。
業務連絡を口頭で伝えます。正式な書面は追って伝送されます。UPEO 所属の搭乗員は本日付で無期限の待機命令。まあ簡単に言えばかなり雲行きが怪しくなってきたってこと。じゃあ。
Communication interrupted. Receiving emergency broadcast.
ただいま入りましたニュースをお伝えします。フェイスパーク地方においてかねてから緊張状態が続いていたゼネラルリソースとニューコムが交戦状態に突入した模様です。ニューコムからの公式発表によりますと、この攻撃はあくまでもゼネラルリソース側が行った違反行為への報復であるとのことです。この事態を受け、UPEO のクラークソン代表は先ほど緊急会見を開き、治安維持部隊の現地への緊急派遣を発表。
With all of the exposition out of the way, let's go into detail about who we are. We are a pilot for SARF, the military branch of UPEO under the control of the Neo-United Nations. The two biggest corporations in the world are General Resource and Newcom, and tensions are obviously rising. Our first mission will be to take on Newcom as they violate sanctioned airspace of General Resource. The Neo-United Nations set apart these spaces to keep tensions at a low, but Newcom has decided, fuck that, we're going to do what we want. So now we're going to go shoot them down. As for what we're seeing here, the archive allows us to view old cinematics, and the search, which I believe I have the translations for, and I'll post them in the thread, is just a lot of lore. What we're seeing in front of us, however, is the Electrosphere itself. It's basically the internet in Strangereal. Data Swallow is in fact an OS used to access it, created by General Resource. Every company has developed their own OS, and it will change depending on which faction you side with. There are 4 factions in the game to side with as well, but as I've said, we're going to stick with UPEO for the first run. Afterwards we'll go General Resource, Newcom, and the 4th, which we'll be seeing much later. All in all, it's just a neat little detail that everything you see is a tangible element in the game's world.
本日午前7時50分頃、ニューコムがゼネラルリソース側に対して大規模な軍事行動を開始した。我々UPEOは両者の関係がこれ以上悪化することを避けるため、この行動を阻止せねばならない。なお、ニューコム側が警告を無視した場合は実力行使もやむを得ない。諸君の働きに期待する。以上。
Your choice of plane is limited by what faction you're playing as, but we can unlock more as we go on. We only have 2 choices, the MiG, which is a really good plane, and Typhoon, which is hot garbage. I'm only going to take the Typhoon just so you can see how bad it is.
レナはフランカーに乗れていいよな。
おしゃべりしない。攻撃を開始します。
We are accompanied by our 3 wingmen, Reyna, Fiona, and Eric. They won't always be there, but once in a while they can provide a bit of backup. However, like most of the early games, it's nothing to really think about. Now, Ace Combat 3, like Ace Combat 2, I believe, which I haven't played in forever, but it actually tries to apply some sort of physics, real-world physics, to the planes, and the Typhoon suffers a lot. In fact, I think in the Western version, you couldn't use any other plane until you played with the Typhoon once, and the Typhoon being really slow and hard to maneuver, well, you can see why I'll take some damage later on. This is a standard fare interception of a Newcom convoy. With extremely fragile transport craft and a light escort, we should have no trouble dispatching. The R-101 is the first iteration of the Newcom R numeral fleet, the Delphinus. It's a standard interceptor and it's pretty crappy. The R-201 is a ground attack vehicle. We won't be seeing much threat from it. Its name is also the Asterazoa, which is a genus name for sea stars. Now the R501, the Rinkadon, is a whale shark transport. As you'll see, it doesn't take much to kill them, and they are very slow and non-maneuverable. If you've played any of the modern Ace Combat games, you might be seeing just how much more prominent G-force is on the plane itself. Even performing a simple loop or just trying to turn up or down, or rather pitch the nose up and down in this case, I'm met with a lot of resistance, and I can't really get behind targets as well as I normally would with some of the other starter planes in the series. To sum it up, this game plays by some slightly different rules than you may be used to if you've never touched the earliest games, but it doesn't make it impossible to adapt to. Some of these moves I've just done, I would never be able to do in a modern Ace Combat game, for example, like hitting a ship from the side with a missile. And then you'll see that maybe that could have been a good hit, but the missiles don't always launch from the same side that you might be used to as well. But as always, I believe in the tactic of angling your plane to get the missiles to launch at just the right angle as well. In most Ace Combat games, you don't need to pay attention to the timer at any point. However, in this game, you may recall during the briefing we saw the number 259 appear over the map. That is our operational window, as I'll call it from now on. So if we fail to destroy our targets within 2 minutes and 59 seconds, we hit a certain failure state.
Mission over.
Hitting a mission over means we did not really accomplish our mission and our performance rating is locked to a D.
作戦の目的は達成された。今後も諸君の活躍には期待している。
Naturally, this can't stand. Mission overs determine what missions you go on to later in the game and also determine some of the ending
クラ
dialogue.
クソン代表の力で解決できるレベルの問題ではなくなってしまったわね。これからはきっとパーク司令の出番が増えるでしょうね。ということは私たちも覚悟を決めておくべきだわ。まあそれだけ言いたかったの。それから次のサポートもよろしく。
いやいや、ニュースじゃ世界大戦でも始まったような騒ぎになってるな。俺たちの戦闘も中継されてたらしいし。そういえば飛行パターン変えた？前よりずっといい感じで飛んでたな。そうそう、フィーのやつ珍しくお前のこと褒めてたぜ。ま、次もこの調子が続けば俺も楽できるし。じゃあ。
A lot of the dialogue that comes from a mission over is usually pretty banal. It just says, hey, maybe we could do better, or something along the lines of, man, that was close. But naturally, I don't want to hit that unless I absolutely have to, and unfortunately you do have to hit it to play one of the coolest missions in the entire series later on in the game. So look forward to that. Now, since we've completed our objective, we basically have infinite time now, which makes a lot of sense. So I'll go ahead and shoot down the last of Newcom's reinforcements, and we will complete the mission.
作戦の目的は達成された。今後も諸君の活躍には期待している。
ついに始まったわね。ニューコムの出方次第ではもうクラークソン代表の力ではどうしようもないことになるでしょう。ここで私たちユーピオの進化が問われるのは必至ね。そうそう、君前と違った動きしてたじゃない。いい感じだったよ。あ、どうも。これはあなたに出す最初のメールになります。この戦いが続くのならきっとこれからはあなたと一緒に飛ぶことが増えるのかもしれない。今日のような飛び方なら見える敵をあなたが思うように叩けばいいと思う。それではまた。
See you next time for Mission 2, Bravado.